Hello everyone, and it's first Tuesday in October, so it's time to unveil what I've been working on that's sort of replacing the viewer's choice streams for a month. So most people usually do some kind of like horror game for October, because you know it's basically Halloween the month at this point. But I honestly don't like most horror games that much, so I've decided to do, for my like first October doing streams on a regular basis, this little thing I decided to call Digital Ghost Towns, which is a series about exploring these like abandoned and virtual worlds. Well, so the first Digital Ghost Town stream, we're going to be taking a look at sort of a dramatized version of what to kind of expect for the rest of the series. It'll be a total of 4 episodes, possibly with another like 4 or more next October, or depending on you know how this fares and whether or not I can find more, or you know, basically abandoned virtual worlds. Which I'm probably not gonna limit it to just like the MMO type virtual worlds, because I've actually got like this really old crusty looking chat program lined up, as well as two MMOs, and tonight's game, which is Pagan Autogeny, which is a game that sort of, you know, revolves around this whole concept, and is included in the like big bundle for racial justice that itch.io had. So I've just sort of had it for months, but now seemed like a good time to pull it out since you know, well, I'm pretty sure out of all of everything I've got lined up for this month, it's the actual like horror game, because again, I'm not really that big of a fan of the majority of horror games. I'm much more sort of the suspense type than cheap jump scares. And unfortunately, ever since Five Nights at Freddy's came out, that's pretty much been what you know, popular horror games have been. So let's jump into the game and check it out. I'm gonna pause the music since I'm pretty sure the game has its own, or at the very least, you know, having UB Funky's music playing might hurt the atmosphere a little. Oh, I just realized I did not properly add in a desktop audio to this scene. So let me just do that real quick. So you probably cannot actually hear the I just paused the UB Funky's music. Let's see. Alright, there we go. I've got proper audio. Let's make sure it's capturing. Alright, you seem to be good. And it's starting to crash. But maybe that's just user hostile design at its finest. Is momentarily starting to crash while it's booting up. Right, so plop this down. Oh, that's not good. Streamlabs telling me that I'm skipping frames. We've been placed down in some kind of pink room with an exit. Well, I believe that's for exiting the game. Wait. K for skills, I for inventory, space to jump. Wait, skills, estrogen, body forging, then caffeine, poetry, and murder. Nothing in our inventory. Yep, frames are skipping. And, you know, spaces jump. Doesn't seem to be any kind of music. Got food court over here, though. And money. Oh, it's not just something you walk over to pick up. It's... You have to manually put it into your inventory with E. Or at the very least, like, you have to manually interact with it with E. Yeah, the connectivity of this, of any like modern 3D game, even when, you know, made by a smaller developer in Unity, does not tend to run super well, not tend to stream super well on my PC here right now. Well, but hey, you know. Thing about upgrading, say upgrading and get another skipped frames notification from Streamlabs. Well, I mean, only when specifically says skipped frames that this seems to be that big of a problem from what I can tell. It's like the CK3 has the same issue, and you know, like we've got labor vouchers, so apparently that's what like money things are. CK3 being, you know, a 3D game released in 2020. me having my... Oh, there is like... There's at least atmosphere. There's at least an ominous atmosphere. I just didn't have my volume turned up loud enough. And if I sure hope that's... Let me check to make sure that it's hopefully... It is not. Right, there we go. Let's maybe turn that down a little bit. There, now. Right, looks like this game needs its own settings for plus caffeine. Good to have an interactable television screen with some dude's face on it. We have a scroll, plus poetry. So you have outdoor caffeine and poetry. So you wander about this like hallway. Just hope that this is just an ominous atmosphere game and not a jump scare game. I mean, you don't really need both ominous atmosphere and jump scares, because jump scares usually work best when you lull your audience into into a false sense of security. It's kind of hard to actually feel secure when everything is just incredibly ominous sounding all the time. Okay, we've got another scroll. So bumping up our poetry a bit more. Let's see what our skills are looking like. Okay. What was that? Like, I don't think there's gonna be any jump scares, that's for sure. Because I am way too on edge for there to be a really like proper screamer. Hey, get some estrogen. And everything seems to be fine capture-wise, too. Of course, maybe I'm not... Maybe there are, like, jump scares or something in this game. So maybe I'm going in largely blind, and you know, I quite possibly have some measure of anxiety, so I may just be more on edge than the average person. And who knows? I definitely heard something that time. Was it you, weird man in the television screen? It appeared to be frozen. Thanks, weird man on the television screen. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, and you know, can't entirely know for sure what exactly is gonna happen until it does. Despite like connectivity being in the green, still skipping frames. Cadence. Each interact like yawning void. Oh, we're outside now. We're out of whatever mall we were in. Kind of wish I could turn off the motion blur a little. Hey, that's just user hostile design for you, making it hard to see. I think I heard something. That might have just been me landing on the ground. I'm just saying. Well, let's test that theory. Okay, that is in fact just the sound of my feet hitting the ground. Let's continue exploring. Interesting that the like underground area of the mall all opened out to this. Well, let's see if we can swim. don't know if that's... I guess you could consider that to be body forging, maybe? Like if it's related to our skills at all. Okay, coach. At least we're not going to drown. Just gotta hope these aren't the copyright claim crickets. You know, would suck have this be copyright claimed after spent over, you know, I switched my intro music such that there was no chance, it's highly unlikely they'll get a copyright claim on it. Granted, the playlist I was using before or that also never got a copyright claim. Granted, it did get muted last stream. I mean, that's whatever, it's just you know, my stream starting soon, on screen. You know, nothing of value is really lost if that gets muted. But, you know, it would suck if, after switching switching the intro music to something that's unlikely to get copyright claimed, we went and got we ended up getting copyright claimed anyway because of crickets. I think I see maybe some sort of structure in the hazy distance over that way. Let's try and move that way. Maybe there will be something of interest that is within it. Perhaps even something that can upgrade our murder skill or something. Boy howdy, this thing's getting a little choppy. Should probably make sure that the sounds aren't too loud. Okay, good. Because this is because the crickets are making things a bit noisier than they were underneath the mall. Honestly, if they were to put a jump scare in this game, this would probably be the place. Because it's just because like this, I can imagine getting lulled into a false sense of security. Over here, the ominous, ominous sort of mall dungeon, not so much. Let's get our poetry up at least. Don't know when that will come into play. Unfortunately, there wasn't much of a structure. Or it was just... There's, you know, a few walls surrounding a poetry scroll. Let's just keep on moving around. Yeah, see, is this a tree or a mushroom? See, it's a mushroom. Is it anything I can interact with? Nope. Guess let's just head into the water. My arm actually kind of hurts. I think maybe my muscles got a bit tensed up at some point. Something. It just kind of aches. It aches for no apparent reason. Yeah, let's see what this kind of pillar or something over this way is. Okay, I think it actually genuinely is a pillar of some kind. Maybe a gym. I think it's looking like a floating gym of some kind, perhaps. Maybe this is how I upgrade my murder. Maybe it's something we can add to our inventory. Well, the devs left a couple of tarot cards out of the game, but I bet they're in here somewhere. Okay, so crystals apparently leave messages. There's something over here. So perhaps. Right. That's plus caffeine. Right, so caffeine is up to 3. Yeah, I'm just glad that the rest of the digital ghost towns probably don't have this much motion blur. I'm pretty sure most of them are 2D as opposed to 3D, so. But yeah, come to think of it, all of them are. So. Anyone speculating about what's coming for the next 3 Tuesdays? You can rule out anything that's 3-dimensional. Let's just keep on wandering around and try and find something interesting. So I get possibly like a little bit of a headache from the crickets. Oh, I think I see something over that way. To my right. There appears to be just like a variety of perhaps was it like crosses? Crosses for some purpose. sign of anyone who's been crucified in this area. So that's good. Boy howdy, is a game being particularly laggy the more I try and look at the crosses. I think maybe some of my headache my beginnings of a headache might be from just looking at this art style for too long. You know, it's probably entirely on purpose. You know, user hostile design at its finest. Oh, looks like we've got another structure. Probably, or maybe, perhaps it's the same structure they've been to before. I don't think it is. I think these things usually have something to buff with your stats, and this one doesn't appear to have such a thing. But at the same time, it seems unfamiliar, so maybe it just doesn't have anything. Oh, it's got a thing to interact with if we can ever get Terror 21. Well, that's something to keep in mind at least. I wonder what is Terror 21? I know some things about tarot, but not enough to know off the top of my head what the 21st card is. Oh, it's the world. Okay. I should have known that because I'm pretty sure there's a game called, or at least an egg-like, I believe they call it. They're literally called 21 the World, and that is a tarot reference. So hey, now we know to look out for the world. Well, then pick it up if you find it. Well, I mean, even if I didn't know that there was, something specifically, that would specifically make use of it, I would still pick it up just for the sake of, it's probably going to be useful. Well, at some point, I think we may have, I don't think the mall dungeon had these like pillars out in front. So I think this is somewhere new. Yeah, this is definitely somewhere new. I do not recall there being this new version of the ominous atmosphere previously. We've also picked something up. A right arm. Well, it's not a weapon. So who knows what we're going to be using that for. So perhaps somebody who's missing a limb? Ooh, we've got a new variation of the ominous atmosphere. They're from the mall dungeon. And lovely. I do hope that's capturing well because it is kind of subtle. It just makes it slightly more unnerving. It's just sort of being this red zone. Well, there's whatever playing in the background. Okay, I think we've gone outside. Either that or maybe I think maybe we're still inside, just the ceiling is above the draw distance. Oh, do you perhaps need a right arm? Martyr is restrained. Okay. That tells me nothing. Are you a martyr? You appear to be lacking in terms of limbs, so I'm not entirely sure if you're supposed to be. Okay. Then I can apply the right arm. Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm also not sure if I'm seeing it on you. No, everything's kind of hazy. Oh, it's over here for some reason. Right now, where does the right arm go this time? Perhaps, like, select. Nope. I love this user hostile design. This seems like what we're supposed to be using the right arm for. But it's not doing the thing that I imagine it's supposed to be doing. say perhaps we need to continue walking through. Maybe we'll find other limbs to help the murder. We need to like break the martyr free from something first. First, who knows? So I've gotta find my way back to the sort of underground area that we were in before. Okay, here we go. So I was going the wrong way, but now it's just the path was obscured by the draw distance. So let's see if we can maybe find, say, a left arm. Maybe we need to present both arms at once. Okay, that's just the exit. Very loud door opening noise compared to everything else. Hey, jarringly loud noises are definitely hostile towards the user. That's for sure. Okay, okay, so now we actually have music. We are in the desert, and I'm gonna double check Streamlabs again. Yeah, I need to turn this down because I think it's getting a little too loud. But mainly it's kind of a bop. At least. Was not expecting this change of pace. Here we go. Sort of ominous, sort of thumping sound to full-on music, and also the game freezing momentarily. Well, I guess let's just enjoy the jams while we wait for the game to let me do things again. If this isn't great, this is definitely not okay. Something happened there. And my screen went outright dark for a moment. I think maybe that was my display driver crashing. And that's why it was frozen. My display driver does that sometimes. Should probably maybe update it. Okay, these things are moving. Are they a threat? Okay, they are in fact a threat, and I don't know how to actually utilize my murder skill. The game never really taught me how to murder, just taught me how to jump and access the menus. So I'd say I'm not adequately prepared for the zone. As if I've been adequately prepared for any of this. So let's just retreat back. Let's just retreat back to the almost thumping room. Oh hey, here's a car. Car that I can perhaps enter or maybe even drive. I have no idea if I'm driving right now because the windshield, you know, is borderline opaque. Like, sounds are happening that seem to indicate I am in motion. Is there a way to exit the vehicle? Can I perhaps jump? I know that works in some games. Okay, it's freezing again. Okay. Oh, I think that might have just been a cutscene. Because we're somewhere else now. I guess unexpected, I guess you should expect the unexpected when you hop into just a random car you find. But hey, here's a thing that we can pick up. It appears to be I think it's another limb. Yep. We are just amassing a wide selection of limbs now. Now it seems. Cabin. And this way. Is it possible that we don't actually assemble limbs onto something? Perhaps we just assemble something out of the limbs. Plus a torso and head we'll find at some point. Not necessarily looking forward to the possibility of one of the pickups we find just being a decapitated head. I see. Is that maybe the other arm? The other leg? I think it's a gun. We need a little bit closer. So this is probably either a weapon. Okay, say it's a weapon. And to equip. Alright, we have a gun now. So now if there are any enemies around, I can maybe utilize my murder skill. Let's see. This is okay. It's not a building that we can enter. It's just set for a second. Unless, of course, there's a different door we're supposed to enter it through. That I just have not seen yet. What is this? Is it a rock? Is it a manhole cover? Who knows? Is it an enemy that I just shot? We'll find out when the game unfreezes. Any day now. Come on, game. Anytime you wanna let me continue doing things, that'd be great. Okay, I think it's perhaps another display driver crash, another video card driver crash or whatever. Guess my screen has gone black again. Now, honestly, I'm not 100% sure that. Okay. I just accidentally fired my gun off again. Okay, so I'd say that is just, a thing that is there. Now we're back to this. Now we're just back to this. I deselected the game and went back in and fired the gun off again. Yeah, it seems to be frozen yet again. There's just something incredibly cursed about this sort of like angular thing on the ground. Oh, think it might have been another display driver crash. You know what? Since I actually just today updated my operating system from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, I'm willing to bet this is quite possibly because I haven't properly updated my graphics drivers or something. So I'm gonna be right back while I check that and see if I have the latest AMD drivers first. I may have to stop and restart stream, and depending on whether or not that requires me to restart my computer at any point. And I'll be right back, and hopefully I'll fix these problems.